G'day everyone, Buck up in North Queensland. Happy New Year to you. I'm having a coffee. I hope you all had a good New Year's. 1st of January 2024, my first clip for the year. Won't be the last one either. Talk a bit about 2023. Wasn't a real good year for the Buckaroony channel. I got the shits, threw the old channel away. Bloody got the shits with the world, stopped me trip around Australia. Got back, recharged me batteries, guys, had to think about things and take me life in a different direction. I'm going to continue on with the Buckaroony channel. As you know, I restarted it up and it's mainly going to be live feeds. If you're wondering, I'm not going to go out filming camping trips and all that. I might do it from time to time, guys. I'm still over that type of stuff. I'm passionate about doing live feeds, keeping the community going, and this year I really want to ramp it up with interviews. I want to not just have me on the screen talking shit like I normally do. I want to have people on with me, whether it's an international guest or someone out of the community, just someone else on the screen to have a chat with me on StreamYard. Trouble is, if I do that, I'll probably have to go up to the next level and actually start paying for it, because you only get so many hours a month free with StreamYard. So if I start doing everything via StreamYard, I might have to bite the bullet and bloody, I think it's about $300 US to go on StreamYard. So anyway, I'll have a think about it. But I love the live feeds, you know that. And I love talking to people and hearing everyone else's stories. You've all heard my stories, guys. You're probably sick of them by now. But I love listening to other people's stories. So we're going to get some special guests on. People in the community. If you really want to get on and say, Buck, I'd love to do a live feed with you one night and talk about camping and four-wheel driving and just general anything that we're all interested in. The state of play with politics. I don't mind talking a bit of politics. I love having a rant. If you want to come on with me, send me an email and might be able to be a guest with me one night on StreamYard, on a Saturday night and what have you. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about this thing that's sitting in front of me, and you're probably thinking, Buck, what is that monstrosity? What is that in front of you? Well, it's a licorice all sorts power station, guys, and I'll talk more about that soon. As you know, if you watch my old channel, you will know that from the very early days when I first got a dual battery system put in the BT50, I can't even remember what I had in the bloody, no, even the old Toronto 2, guys. I had a portable, I had a kick-ass AGM in the back of that in a kick-ass box from memory, and that served me well for 5 years. AGM, as you know, AGM, we won't go into the advantages of lithium over AGM. AGM's very heavy, we all know that, and you don't have as much bang for your buck, okay? You get a 100 amp hour AGM, you've only really got 50 amps of power, because they say you shouldn't take an AGM battery down under half. Whereas a lithium, you can get them right down low and then charge them up. They charge up quicker. There's a lot of, I had a clip on that, advantages of lithium over AGM. You won't see that anymore. That was on the old channel, which does not exist anymore, and I cannot get it back. I've been really, as I said, why did I always want portable? Why didn't I get a permanent dual battery system put in the BT50? One was the cost. The cost of getting Auto Alex to put a proper dual battery system in, and these people are putting these permanent dual battery systems and electrical 12 volt systems and 240 volts in their canopies of their vehicles. Big money, guys, big money. I wanted something simple, something that I could remove from the BT50 and use it as a portable workstation. Someone's got their blower going. This is my third take. I've had blowers and lawnmowers and everything start up. I'm just going to punch through. If someone starts their lawnmower up, I'm just going to keep going, guys. Been out here for an hour, and that's why I went in and made a third coffee for the morning, is every time I start talking, old mate starts his ride on lawnmower up. It sounds like a bloody Abrams tank starting up. So, because we have cyclones up here, I always wanted portable power. Now, in the back of the BT50 as we speak at the moment, I've got a cable that comes from the alternator via the starter battery into the back, and it's Anderson plugged up with a red Anderson plug, 50 amp Anderson plug. When I'm driving, I can charge my battery up thing, and as I speak, I've got an Itechworld battery box, which I'll talk more about it soon. The exact same battery box as I've got here. That one in the BT was given to me by Jordan at Itechworld, and I actually put it into the BT when I was down in Tassie. I got it sent down to Lukey Reed's, and it's still in the BT. Absolutely fantastic. Inside that battery box is an Itechworld 120X battery, still going really well. As you know, I did a bit of work over the last couple of years with Itechworld, and I also had another one, 120 amp hour in a battery box here in the shed, just for charging things up in the shed, charging my phone when I'm out here and all that type of stuff. I've given that Itechworld battery box and battery to my son Phil. Actually, I gave him two. One is in his Hilux, which isn't working at the moment. For all the fanboys, Toyota fanboys out there, Phil's Hilux is not going. He's having all sorts of problems with it. But in the back of the canopy, he's got a Itechworld battery and battery box. And the Travel Buddy, I gave him the Travel Buddy as well. And that's all working fantastically. The other Itechworld 120X battery I gave him, lithium battery, is in his boat. And he's got a great setup in his boat. And that runs his electric boat motor. I don't know if it's a Motor Guide or the other main brand. Anyway, he's electric, so when he's flicking lures, he can go along with his electric motor when he's flicking lures for barra and all that type of stuff. So Phil's got the other Itechworld battery in there. That left me without a power station in the shed. And I thought, oh, bloody hell. So what I've done is I've been looking at power stations for a long time now. Steve Fuller and Ty Fenwick have got the Jackery 1000 Pro. We'll talk about that soon. Gidgy Gorilla, my brother, he won the little Kickass, the 27 amp little portable Kickass one at the Drifter event years ago, and he still uses it in the backyard, and that said it's absolutely fantastic. Just a little 27 amp, little light portable thing that you can take camping and that with you. There's some other good ones out there. The one I'm eyeing off at the moment to take camping with me, just so Roz can charge her phones. I can do it through the setup in the BT50 and all that, guys. And I could take this camping with me also. But this is more of a one for the shed, and after a cyclone and all that. We'll talk about this power station that I've made up, the Licorice All Sorts one, with 3 different companies in there. I'm eyeing off the little Kickass one at the moment. It's got a 600 watt inverter in there, and it's got about a 42 amp hour battery in there. Nice little lightweight one. Rob Richmond's got one, guys, and he likes it, and I'm eyeing that one off. But they're $729, and basically $729, and you only get like a 42 amp hour battery. Okay, that's why I've gone with this option here. We'll go through. I've got some stuff down there. There's some big companies out there: Blue Eddy, Jackery. You've got Kickass. What's the other one? There's another bloody... Oh, Itechworld, of course. Itechworld's got quite a comprehensive range of solar power stations, and we'll talk about that soon. So I thought I want another power station in here, so if we have a cyclone, I can still run my bloody camping fridge, so we can at least keep some cold water, keep the milk cold and all that type of stuff when we lose power after a cyclone. We just had a cyclone. We were lucky here. We got the tail end of it, got a lot of rain, the town flooded. We didn't lose power. But further north in Cairns and Port Douglas and Cape Tribulation, some of them guys are still without power up there, and it's been a couple of weeks now since the cyclone hit. We've had a couple of big cyclones here that have absolutely demolished this town, guys. So, and I know for a fact, both times we lost power for 2 weeks. That's a long time. So you've got to have a way to have a portable fan so you can at least try and get some sleep at night. I've got a Ryobi fan there. Need to be able to charge the batteries up and all that type of stuff. I always think mainly about pro-cyclone type stuff. That's why I want a nice big power station in the shed here, because at some stage I'm going to need it. So rather than go and buy one of these big expensive ones, I'll take you through some prices soon. There's some little small ones for camping and that on the market, which are a reasonable price. The little Kickass one, 27 amp hour, It's about $279 at the moment. That's a great little one. The one the Gidgee Gorilla's got. They're 600, the one with a 600 watt inverter in there and about a 42 amp hour battery capacity. That's $729 currently. So the price is starting to get up there. So for not much more than that, I've actually built this power station in front of me for $800, and it's got 120 amp hours of power in there. So 3 times the amount of power for the same price because I built it myself. I'll go through it now and we'll talk through it. First thing I did was grab an Itechworld battery box. I actually bought this one, guys. So this is the same battery box I've got in the back of the BT50. Absolutely fantastic. It's got all your plugs on the front. It's got USB connectors. It's got cigarette lighters. It's got USB-C. It's got quick charge on there. It's got 4 Anderson 50 amp Anderson plugs on this end. Okay, one of them I've got the solar controller plugged in there, and on this end here I think it's a 125 or 127 amp jumbo Anderson plug. I'll call it a jumbo Anderson plug. When I thought, what do you plug into that? Well, I know now. So there's the battery box, portable. That's an Itechworld battery box. After watching Simon Musty from Lock Your Hub's 4-wheel drive, his review on the Kings batteries. I was down in Townsville a couple of months ago. I went into the big Adventure King store there. Their lithium batteries, which got a big thumbs up from Simon. He did a lot of testing on that battery, put it through its paces, and it come up the goods, guys. The blue top Kings 120 amp hour lithium battery. And they were $470. And I thought, all right, if this is a piece of shit, $470, all right, I'll take me chances. Anyway, it's still going all right. It's still only fairly new. It's doing the job, guys. It's doing the job. I was in there again the other day, and they were down to $399 for 120 amp hour Kings lithium battery. And I've heard some good reviews about the Kings batteries, guys. We all know there's stories out there about Kings gear not being up to speed. Well, the lithium batteries, I've seen some good positive reviews on their lithium batteries, and I thought, $470, bugger it, I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to test one out. Okay, so I bought it. They're down to $399 at the moment. They've also got little 60 amp hour lithium batteries as well, cute little 60 amps, and they've actually got a little battery box that they can go in. So if you want a real lightweight, bloody little portable solution, maybe that's an option for you as well, if you don't want to buy one of these more expensive actual power stations from one of these companies. So I've got the battery box, $179 on special. They're $199 at the moment for the Itechworld battery box, which are really, really good. Inside there is a 120 amp hour Kings lithium battery. So I told you it was a licorice all sorts, didn't I? Now, they call a solar power station. Got to have some way to charge that battery up if it starts getting low using solar panels. I've got my Kickass solar panel sitting out there at the moment, and I've got the plug ready to go. So I've got an G'day crew. I've got an Itechworld solar controller. It's one of their older models. What are you doing? Crew's coming out, Jamil's cat, meowing, going, what are you doing, Buck? Can you hear her? Shut up, you idiot. So I've got a 30 amp solar controller on here. It's an MPPT, and it's also got lithium profile in there, which is good. So I've got a solar controller here that's actually LifePo 4 compatible, which is this thing here on the top of the battery box. There it is there. And I've just got that strapped down. It's got a little screen on the top, so I can see how many amps are coming out, how many amps are going in. So, and it's just got, it comes like this, already Anderson plugged up. I've got the solar controller plugged into one of the 50 amp hour Anderson connectors there to connect it. And this one here is where my solar panels go. I just plug the solar panels in there, and I can put up to, well, 30 amps of thing. Those solar panels there, 200 watt Kickass, I get 10, 11 out of there, and I've got a piggyback cable, and I can put my 120 watt folding solar panels out, my Ridge Rider ones, which I've had for years. They're still going, and I can get, when I double back them in, I can get about 15, 16 amps an hour out of those 2 solar panels, which is not too bad. Your fridges only draw a couple of amps and whatever, so you know, during the day I can pump 15, 16 amps back into this thing, which is all I need to do. So I've got a solar controller there. If I didn't have that, the Kickass solar panels come with a PWM solar regulator on there. So I could plug those solar panels using the solar controller on the solar panels. At the moment, I've bypassed that. The other end of this cable's just plugged into the solar panels because I'm going to be regulating the power using this solar controller here. Don't ever double regulate. You don't go from the regulator on the solar panels through that regulator. It won't work. Unregulated at the solar panels into this one here, and it's actually got a lithium profile on it, whereas the solar panels don't. So if I just in an emergency needed to get power into that battery, I could get the solar panels through plug it into the regulator there. I think it's a 20 amp regulator on that one, and I could go straight into there. But I don't do that because I've got a proper lithium profile solar controller on the top here, and I'll put that in there soon once the sun's behind a big cloud at the moment. So there you go. I've got 120 amp hours of lithium. I can charge it up via solar. If it got real low and I needed to use I've got a Itech lithium compatible battery charger over there, real bloody fancy one. I can take 4 Allen keys here, take the top off this, put the alligator clips on, and I can charge the battery up using 240 volts. The only thing I wish this battery box had, like the old cheap battery boxes I got, is terminal lugs on the outside. So you take it off and you put your alligator clips on and you can charge the battery up without having to take the top off. Itechworld, if you're watching, I know, Chaos, there's a lot of companies out there that have this very similar battery box. I think Kickass is another one. Wish they had the terminal lug so I can just, if you needed to charge 240, you can just clip the alligator clips onto the outside and charge it up 240 that way. But I can still do that. I've just got to take 4 Allen keys out, take the top off, and I can do it that way. So I can charge it 240. I can charge it via solar, which is 99 times out of 100. That's the way I would do it, unless I actually totally flatten it. Then I'll have to jumper start it and then put the 240 volts on there. What else have we got on here? Well, the other day, I thought, the only thing this is missing that all the other ones have got is an inverter. So you can convert 12 volts to 240 volts. Well, I got on the Kickass website and they had on special a 700 watt pure sine wave inverter. If you're wondering what pure sine wave is, I have no idea, but I do know that that's the one you need if you want to run sensitive electrical equipment off it. iPads, laptop computers and all that type of stuff, okay? So this is pure sine wave, so it's safe for your laptops and all that type of stuff. Helicopter going over, not sure what he's doing. Might be going out to spray the bananas. We had some Chinooks flying over a couple of weeks ago, all the Chinooks going up to evacuate Wujal after the floods, and they were all flying over. It was a good sight too, knowing that the army was on their way up there to help the people at the time of the floods and that. I don't know what that bloke's doing. He's buzzing low anyway, whatever he's doing. So, $119, and I got a Kickass pure sine wave inverter. So what that does is it takes the 12 volts from the lithium battery here and converts it to 240, and I can run an electrical appliance up to 700 watts. I had a look on the back of the NutriBullet. It needs 600 watts to work. So I could bring the NutriBullet out and I could plug it into this here, and if it only needs 600 watts, then this 700 watt pure sine wave inverter should be able to run that NutriBullet. I was looking at the Kickass, Craig, I think his name is, the bloke who does the ads and that, and he says if you're going to run something that's 700 watts, you shouldn't run it off a 700 watt inverter. Have a bit of a fudge factor there. The other thing that was good advice too, if you're wondering, if you've got a 120 amp hour lithium battery in your power station, you shouldn't run anything more than a 1200 watt inverter. If you want to run a big 2000 watt or a 3000 watt inverter, you will need a bigger lithium battery. I'll give you an example. our old caravan, guys, that the Jawa Sirocco, we had a kick-ass 2,000 watt inverter in that caravan. Worked beautifully, worked really well, but we had 300 amps of lithium in there. So if you're going to run the big inverters, you're going to need a bigger lithium battery. But they say for 120 amp hours, you can go up to 1200 watt inverter. I didn't need that. Kick-ass have got that. I thought, I don't really need 1200 watts. I just want to be able to, for Jamil, I'll tell you this story in a minute. Or if I want to charge my Ryobi batteries up after a cyclone or whatever, I've got a way to charge them up. And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Another reason too, Roz's son Jamil lives with us, guys. Going to give him a plug here. And he makes music, and I'll tell you what, he's done some good songs, and a few years ago he was starting to get a bit popular. But he gave it away, and he's just recently said, I want to get back in and make some music. Now, before I forget to say, I'm going to put 2 of his songs down in the description. It's a link. They're on YouTube. I'm going to put a link there. One's with a young girl called Greta Stanley, who's got an amazing voice, and the other one he did, Wishing on a Spaceship or whatever, I really like it. It's hip-hoppy, rap type music, guys. If you're into that style of music, I think you'll like it. And he's done a few concerts and all that type of stuff, and he's actually collabed with a couple of American guys that are getting up there as well. So I'll put the links down. Let me know in the description what you reckon. Jamil loves to get out of the house, and he said, have you got something that I can run my laptop? He likes to do his music on his laptop, so he's going to need 240. The laptop doesn't run off 12. So he went out and bought a little CAN inverter from Super Cheap Auto or Repco, one of the two. It's a little 150 watt inverter. And that runs his laptop, but they're only a modified sine wave. And they say if you're going to run laptops and that, you really should have a pure sine wave inverter. So that's what made me get this, just to try and protect Jamil's computer. And if I ever need to run my desktop computer, if we have a blackout or whatever, I don't know, maybe I can run my computer off this and the modem in the house. I don't know. But it's there. I've got 240 volts now if I need it. How's that on there? With some industrial Velcro. That's just Velcroed on, and I could rip that off if I need to. It comes with a massive jumbo Anderson plug there, which goes into the end of that battery box. Is it a 125 or a 127 amp Anderson plug? Big jumbo one. And that's where I plug the inverter. So the inverter's just Velcroed down. It's on nice and tight with industrial. Couple of screws there, and it's a nice big heavy duty cable that Kick-Ass do. They don't do things in half, guys. Kick-Ass stuff is kick-ass. It is very, very good quality, and goes into the Anderson plug. So if I need to, I can just rip that off the Velcro, undo these 2 screws here, and just pull the jumbo Anderson plug out, and I can remove that 240 volts if I need to. I probably won't use the 240 volts very much on this power station, but it's there now so Jamil can run his laptop when he goes out. He likes to go away to a nice quiet area, and he can think and he does his music on his laptop. Put a couple of links down. Check them out. Let me know what you reckon. So that's on there. Got a solar controller. I've got 120 amp hour. So I've got 3 different companies in this power station. I've got Itechworld battery box. I've got an Itechworld 30 amp solar controller, which is lithium compatible. Fantastic. I've got a filthy old Kings lithium battery in there, 120 amp. I only bought it, I just wanted to try it out. A lot of people not keen. I'm going to try it. They're down to $3.99 at the moment. I got that for $4.70. The Kick-Ass pure sine wave inverter, they are very, very good, guys. Got a digital display up here, the on and off button, all that type of stuff. I'll show you how that works in a minute. So what I'll do now, and as I said, I can remove that if I need to. If I want to, I can just, that's only held on by a strap, but it's on there nice and tight. 19.3, it's not, like I can lift it up. If that was an AGM, I couldn't do that. That whole setup at the moment, with the inverter on there and the inverter and the solar controller, the battery box, is 19.3 kilos. So it's still portable. You can carry it around like 19, it's under 20 kilos. So it is still portable, guys. And I've got 120 amps of bloody power at my disposal. So what I'm going to do now is it's pretty well charged up, this battery. So I've got my solar panels out there, not regulated. Not regulated because here's the regulator here. So I'm going to plug him in, upside down, Miss Jane. Plug him in. So I've got the solar plugged in there now, and there's a dirty big cloud in front of the sun, and the display here tells me how much. And now that yesterday I had 10 or 11 amps coming in out of the 200 watt kick-ass solar panels. So at the moment now, that battery's charging up using the solar controller. So if I want to use something on 240 volts now up to say 600 or 700 watts, I can do it via the kick-ass thingy. And what I'll do now is I was using this battery yesterday to blow the paths off with my leaf blower. Now I've also got a 12 volt battery charger for all my Ryobi 18 volt batteries. I've got a 12 volt battery charger. That's why I didn't really need this. I got it mainly for Jamil because I can still use a 12 volt charger off the battery box straight into the front there using a cigarette adapter and to charge my lithium batteries up, my Ryobi ones I should say. So what I'm going to do to turn this on now is turn him on, flick it up, and then there's an on button here. Have I done something wrong? What have I done there? You diddly donk buck. Oh, no? Oh, there it is. I know what I did then. I didn't hold my tongue right. Or I held the on button down too long. I don't know what I did. So 13.3 volts. I've got there's a digital display on there, shows you what your battery's doing and all that. And it says now that this inverter has now got 240 volts at its disposal. The battery's sitting on 13.3 volts, so the lithium battery's got good voltage in it. And all I need to do, this is just like a power point at home now. I'm going to plug him in to the front. And you can see there, that's a 240 volt battery charger. The red light's on. I'll throw that in. Red flashing. That should start green flashing soon. Red flashing. And when that starts charging, when it gets up, there you go. Well, it's a green solid light. So that tells me that battery, I must have grabbed the good one. That battery's already fully charged. But you can see there, I've got power to that 240 volt Ryobi battery charger. That's just like a power point at home. Can I use a double adapter on that? I guess so, as long as you've got to be careful of how many watts in that, without bloody trying to put my glasses on, guys, and read that. But that's got enough power. That's 700 watts there. That battery charger, I know that worked off a 150 watt CAN inverter, so I could probably run a couple of them off there. So there you go. Little green light is on there now. The screen goes off just to save power, and there's just a little green power light that tells me that that is on and it's providing 240 volts. If I want to just unplug that now, I'll show you how to do it. Just unplug that because that battery was actually full. Turn him off, hold the button down, screen goes off, turn that back to the middle, turn that little one there, and that inverter is now off. So once you don't need it anymore, turn it off, and it just sits there now. That battery's charging up. Now, before I forget to say, power stations. I've noticed a few of these mobs now are talking in watt hours. And I went, what? What's a bloody watt hour? These people have gone from talking in amps. I've just get my head around amps, amp hours. Now they're talking in watt hours. And just to confuse me. And they did a good job, so I had to Google it. Now, a lot of these power stations now, they go, like the Kick-Ass one, 512 watt hours. And I thought, all right, it's a bloody 600, it'll go 600 watt, which means it's got a 600 watt inverter in there. This is a 700 watt. So I'll use the little Kick-Ass power station. And I'll tell you, when I get the money for one, I'm going to buy one because they're nice and light and more portable than what this is for camping and just charging your phones and that up. Okay, this is more of a heavy duty one. for home after a cyclone. So it's a 600 watt, 512 watt hour. And I had to get my head around that. And I thought, righto, the 600 watts means it's got an inbuilt 600 watt inverter. This one isn't inbuilt. I've Velcroed it on the top, but it does the same job. 700 watt kick-ass there. And it's a 512 watt hour. And I thought, well, how much is that in amps? Like what size lithium battery is in there to give it 512 watt hours? So how you work it out, just divide it by 12 for 12 volts, guys. Divide 512 by 12, and I think you end up with like 42.6 or whatever. So that means that little 600 watt inverter, the kick-ass power station, is the equivalent of a 42, they say 40, but 42 amp hour battery in there. So that's how you work it out. So the cost of this, I don't know if I said it before, this whole setup cost me $800. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, Buck, you could have got one of the smaller, lighter ones for a little bit less. Yes, I could have got a little kick-ass one for $729 plus delivery, so you're getting up towards $800, but I would have only had a 42 amp hour battery. This power station will do the same thing because I've got all the quick charges and all that on this Itechworld battery box. The kick-ass battery box, very similar to this, guys. Probably, I don't know. It'll do the same thing. Kick-ass have got a very similar one. There's a few companies out there with the same type of battery box. This has got 120 amp hours of thing. So if you're wondering how many watt hours my power station is, 120 amps, times it by 12, and you end up with 1,440 watt hours. That's how many watts it will produce in an hour. That means nothing to me. If I'm getting that wrong, let me know in the comments. So I've got 120 amps. If you're going, right, what's a 120 in watt hours? Times it by 12, 1440. So this is a 1440 watt hour. So if I was to advertise this on a Mr. Buckaroony website, which doesn't exist, it'd be the Mr. Buckaroony Licorice All Sorts power station, solar power station, 700 watt, 1440 watt hours. That's how it would be advertised. That seems to be how the companies advertise it now. They go, how many watt inverter is in there, and then how many watt hours. Some of the good companies, like Kick-Ass, will also tell you how many amp hours that is, and it was about the 42 amp hour. So 120 times 12 gives me 1440 watt hours. So this is a 700 watt, 1440 watt hours. It's clear as mud. I've just confused myself. But if you see something that's got a 2000 watt hour power station, divide it by 12, and that gives you a rough idea of the size of the lithium battery in there. Now, what's a disadvantage of this over these power stations out there? Jackery, Bluetti, there's a million companies out there. Kick-Ass don't do the big ones. Kick-Ass concentrating more on the little portable ones for camping, and they're absolutely fantastic for that. You get into Jackery and that, guys, and Bluetti, they are getting into some big units which are for living off grid, so that your house can live off grid and everything, like getting into real heavy duty stuff. And we've got some prices over there to give you a bit of an idea. Disadvantage of this, doesn't look as neat and as tidy as one of those power stations that's got everything all inbuilt. Okay, it's probably a little bit heavier, 19.3 kilos, but it's still portable. I can still put that in the BT and take that out camping with me and have an extra power source. If I don't want to touch the Itechworld battery and battery box in the back of the BT and just leave the angle running in there, and I want to take a second fridge for a camping trip or whatever, I can take this, put it on the back floor of the BT50, throw another fridge in, throw my 95 litre buddy fridge in, and I can go out and put that, set a gazebo up and have another fridge running, and this will do it perfectly. Put the solar panels out, and that thing will, as long as I've got sunshine, that'll run that fridge forever. Okay, because I've got 120. What's a good advantage of this one? When these things, they say some of them are good for 2,000 or 3,000 cycles. Okay, what I'm wondering then, if you get to the end of the life on that, you might get 10 years out of it. What do you do then? You've got to buy a whole new power station. Or can you replace the lithium batteries in them? I don't know. Put a comment down, please, on all these companies. Once the lithium battery's stuffed in those things, can you send them away and get a new lithium battery put in, or do you have to buy a whole new setup? Well, with this one here, I undo 4 screws, 4 Allen key screws, take the top off, undo the M8 bolts on the top, go and buy another 120 amp hour lithium battery from Itechworld or Kings or Enerdrive if you've got the money, and you know what I mean? Whoever has a 120 amp hour battery that fits in this battery box, take the top off, put a brand new lithium in there, screw him down, and I'm back in business again. If I'm out on the road and something happens to that lithium battery, and I say I'm in Mount Isa, I'm sure there's a battery shop in Mount Isa where I could go in and buy a 120 amp hour lithium battery and throw it back in, so I'm back in business. So that is one advantage of this, is that you can replace your own lithium battery. Don't know if you can do it with these portable power stations. Righto, I'm going to stop jibber jabbering. I'm going to go and get some prices for you. I don't know why I'm drinking coffee. I am sweating. It is hot. It's not too bad, but it's just humid, guys. The humidity's kicked up now. We've knocked a month of summer over, 2 months to go, but March is also very hot up here as well. So we've got 3 months of stinking hot weather to go. Once we get into April, you'll see this bloody thing behind me. She'll be out and about, guys. The old bloody Steve and Annie's old camper trailer. She's going to be out and about. And hopefully, or well, you'll see us down at the Legends Camp up 9th, 10th and 11th of August down near Warwick this year. It's not next year anymore, it's this year. We'll be down there. And I was just saying to Roz, it's going to be good to go down there, and because I'm not organising the event, be able to kick back, have a beer and just mingle in with everyone. I'm really looking forward to that event. So I've just written a few things down here. 4 good companies here, guys. Itechworld, who I've worked closely with in the past. Kickass, we all know they're a great company. Want to do a live feed with Clayton this year too from Kickass. That's going to be a beauty. Jackery, who Ty Fenwick and Steve Fuller are promoting Jackery at the moment. And Blue Eddie's another one that you always see ads for. There's a million, and I am getting 1,000 Alibaba ads come up on my computer at the moment. And there are a million different types of power stations on Alibaba, and I think some of these companies probably go to Alibaba and go, I like the look of that power station, and I know Alibaba that says if you buy 500 power stations off us, we'll customize them for you and put your logo on them and all that type of stuff, which is what I think a lot of these companies do. The power stations are out of China, guys. They find a good one that will suit their market. They get their name put on it. I'm not saying that's what happens. I know Clayton recently has been over in the factories in China where they make his gear, doing quality control and all that on there. So he's got a bit more of a handle on his stuff as opposed to some of these other companies who I think just get onto Alibaba. We'll have that power station, put our logo on there, and we'll import 500 of them and sell them. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's done, okay? Right, Itechworld they've got a good range of power stations. They've got the smallest ones, 300 watt inverter in there, which is a good size, just for camping and that's all you need. 300 watt inverter, it's got a 25 amp hour lithium battery in it, $349, which isn't too bad. Their largest one that I could see was one that had a 2,000 watt inverter, which is a big inverter, and it had a 160 amp hour lithium battery in there. That was $2,999, normally $3,500. You can see the prices are getting right up there, guys. The prices are getting right up there. So I got this done for $800, built it myself. If I was to buy a power station with 700 watt inverter and 120 amp hours of lithium, I tell you now, it'd be more than $800, way more. Kickass have got 2 little camping inverters. The Kickass at this stage haven't gone into the big heavy duty stuff. I don't know if they're going to do that down the track. They've got 2 great little ones for camping. They've got their original one that the Gidgee Gorilla's got. That's $279 at the moment. I think it's got a 24 or 27 amp hour lithium battery in there. And their new one that Rob Richmond's got, it's got a 600 watt inbuilt inverter, 512 watt hours, which works out at what, 42 amp. It's got a 42 amp battery in there, 729 plus postage. So you're getting up into this price range here, okay, but it is a beautiful, light, compact little power station, and it's certainly for camping, it would be a lot more practical than this one here that I've built. This isn't so much for camping, guys, this is for around the house, okay? Now we'll get into Jackery, the orange and black ones. Steve Fuller has been given one from Jackery. Ty Fenwick as well. Ty's gone the extra step and got onto Jackery and said, mate, you need to get Anderson connectors in Australia. Everyone uses Andersons. And that's what I like about Kickass. Clayton, Anderson's, everything up. Jackery, their 1000 Pro, which is what Ty and Steve Fuller are advertising at the moment, and said they're in Bunnings. Well, it's not the 1000 Pros in Bunnings, it's their smaller ones, because the 1000 Jackery Pro, they've got an 83 amp hour battery in there, and let me tell you, they're not $799. They're a lot more than that. It's their Jackery small, the little smaller camping ones are available in Bunnings in Queensland now. And Jackery, they go right up. They've got another one here, 2000. The Jackery 2000 has got a 3000 watt inverter. Why they call it a 2000, I don't know. 3000 watt inverter, 2042 watt hours, which is 170 amp hours. And that thing, I forgot to write the price down, guys, but it was huge. $2,000. That was $2,000 for that one. Okay, and Bluetti, they do big house jobs, up to over $7,000 for some of their setups, which you wouldn't take camping with you. They're more for around the home. Probably be great for after a cyclone or something like that, where you can start running your big fridges inside and everything off these. But Bluetti's got a little one, 600 watt inverter, 22 amp hour battery in there for $499. So that's a bit dear. If I was that, I'd certainly be looking at the little Kickass one is $279 for a 24 or 27 amp hour battery. So Bluetti, and once again, you won't get Anderson plugs with that. Kickass, if you want a good little camping one, probably Itechworld or Kickass, guys, are the ones to go with, okay? And I know for a fact Kickass are already Anderson plugged up, which is what you want. Listen, I've been jibber-jabbering too long now. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten to say anything. Let me know what you reckon of the Mr. Buckaroony Licorice All Sort solar power station that I've made for the shed at home. It's not really to take out camping. I could do it. If I'm going to go camping and I want to have a second fridge under the gazebo and make a little kitchen or something when I'm out camping somewhere, who knows? I might be able to take this down to the Legends camp and you know, if they need a power station down there to run lighting and, you know, those 12 volt lights and all that, I can take it because you can plug it all in there. If it works off a cigarette adapter or an Anderson, anything that's got an Anderson plug. I've got 3 spare 50 amp Anderson plugs there. I've got what have I got here? I've got on the front of this, cigarette lighter, two cigarette lighters. That one there's got a quick charge and a USB-C. So Roz will be able to charge her Apple iPad up off that. If we were going to do that, I'd charge the Apple iPad up using 240. I'll explain that in a minute. And that one there's another couple of USBs. I've got USBs everywhere. There's another couple of USB A connectors on top of this solar thing there. There's 2 USBs there, so I've got more USBs, and the front of this has got one. Somewhere. There, I think. And there's another USB. I've got more USBs than you can poke a stick at on this box. I really have got them on the actual Itechworld battery box. 2 more here on the solar controller and 1 on the Kickass. So there you go. Yeah, I think if we were going to take Roz's iMac laptop or whatever, like an Apple iPad, I forget what their proper name is, guys, we'd probably take a 240 volt charger and charge it through the Kickass pure sine wave inverter. A lot safer. As I said, the pure sine waves for electrical equipment such as like Apple iPads and all that type of stuff. So there you go, the Mr. Buckaroony Licorice Allsort power station with an Itechworld battery box, which are fantastic. A King's battery in there. You can put any sort of 120 amp lithium battery, any brand. Itechworld solar controller up there, an old model, and a bloody pure 700 watt pure sine wave kick-ass inverter, which are fantastic, all just velcroed on the top. So there you go, there's my power station. Let me know what you reckon. Don't be surprised if sometime during this year you see me with a little kick-ass or an Itechworld little light one, just to charge up, just to put in the rooftop tent. You don't want to be carrying that up the ladder into the rooftop tent, even though we got USB stuff up. That was a bad example, but if Roz is going to camp now in the Oz tent, okay, and she wants to charge her phone and all that type of stuff during the night, just going to get a little lightweight one, and I think I'm leaning towards the Kick-Ass 600 watt with the little 42 amp hour one in there, the little compact one. They're fantastic for camping, okay, but if you want to get a bit more serious and run a bit more gear and get a bit longer out of your fridges, something like this. But as I said, you want to buy something with 120 amp hour in it, going to cost you a lot more than 800 bucks. That's why I went this way. It works, it does the job, it's not pretty, it's not as compact, but I tell you what, it's not too bad, is it? Let me know what you reckon down in the comments, and don't forget to watch Jamil's songs and let me know what you think of those. Catch you later, guys. More clips coming up, more live feeds. First day of 2024. I'm going to get this clip up by tonight so you can watch it. 1st of January, Buck's already got a clip out. See you later.